Good evening, Razorback fans. Welcome to a special edition of the Hog Talk podcast presented to you by Vision Exteriors. It is our Sweet 16 preview show. Tonight, we're just going to give you a rundown of the Arkansas-Arizona game, and we'll throw in some LSU all in to win action. So before we get on it, hey, before the game gets going, head on over to Bet Saracen, download the app, use HOG250 as your promo code. Your first $25 wager gets you $250 in free bets. Right now, money line $25 wins you $81.25 for Arkansas. If you do the over/under spread, that is plus 230. $25 wins you $57.50, and then over/under $25 gets you $21.74. All bets for Arkansas and betting the over. So it's crazy. This over/under is the same odds. It's 165 over/under. So they're predicting a high-scoring game, but Adam, I don't know. Does that mean they're predicting with an 8.5-point underdog? I guess they're expecting this to be a high-scoring affair.
I guess so. And I mean, looking at it, all I feel like I've heard for the past few days at minimum have been how good Arizona is defensively.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of looking at it like they're so good defensively. I mean, we're still having these kind of high lines. I think this game is just truly going to come down to a lot can be said in the first 5 to 6 minutes of the game, setting the tone, see if anybody gets into foul trouble. And then, the last 5 to 6 minutes of the game, where will Arkansas be at that point? Will they have the lead? Will they be within striking distance at, down 6-ish points or something like that? And then at that point, it's, as we all know, and Arizona's going to know it too, it's the Darius Acuff show at that point. So this is truly going to be a bend, don't break type game for both teams.
Yeah, and right here it said Arizona's fixing to throw the kitchen sink to stop Darius. I think it's the other way around. I think Arizona is going to figure out how to stop everybody else. That you're going to try to slow them down, but if you shut everybody else down around Darius Acuff, Arizona has a very good shot at winning. I mean, because what's the most you're going to get at? I mean, he goes balls out, 50 points. All right, where's the other 30 to 40 points coming from to beat Arizona? So Arkansas has proven to struggle in that manner of getting other people around Acuff going. We've seen it when, everybody has to be on their top game on top of Acuff to win the way they have been. You've seen all the games gets High Point. How many people had to step up? Adam, I posed the question. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but what would you do? And this is on top of everybody showing up, showing out. What would you give from a 15-10 game from Pringle?
I mean, I feel like at that point you'd have to give everything. We've not seen that from him this season. I mean, we've hardly seen 5 points and 5 rebounds in a game. I think I heard on Ruskin and Zach earlier that had happened twice this season, and one of those games was against Old Dominion. So, this is a game that obviously I give some things that I can't say on air for that to happen. But at the same time, for Nick Pringle, I'd like, hey, come in, play smart, be aggressive, but at the same time, it's, giving much needed breaks for the likes of Malik Ewan, Trevin Brazile, and others, because, they'll switch around the rotation with Nick Pringle in there. I'll say this is, I don't think, because I know there's been some that's been on the fence about this. Knock on wood, Nick Pringle playing tonight is not going to hurt Arkansas. Like I said, knock on wood there. But I think him coming back will be much needed for Malik Ewan and others just to take some of the pressure of playing 36 plus minutes in this game.
Yeah. And that's what the thing you look at, that's been a big missing piece was Pringle. and it's almost like I just want one game. And I'm sorry, and I'm not looking ahead, but you get past this game, you're not going into a situation where you give it your all and you're going up against Gonzaga, and then you got North Carolina, or you go to a UConn or a Baylor. You get past Arizona, you got the winner of Purdue, Texas, and I really like our chances in that game to get to the Final Four. And what's waiting on you on the top half of that is Nebraska, Iowa, or Houston, Illinois. And I said on Sunday, I'm trying not to get my hopes up and get too excited, but it's hard not to if you get past this game, the road to a national championship. This is going to be your toughest game until you get to the national championship game. And I mean, I'm looking at a Houston, I'm looking at an Illinois. I mean, even if you want to say Nebraska, Iowa gets hot, and then you look down Purdue or Texas, you get past this game, and then you play Purdue or Texas, which would be on the 28th. Road to the Final Four national championship game looks pretty damn good. And I know that we're drinking Kool-Aid and all that. It's but that's the importance of tonight's game.
Yeah, I'm looking to see here. Arizona, I know we touched on this on Monday, but I think one thing that Arkansas is going to need this game is not allowing one of these 5 double-digit scorers, or even the other two that, are at 9, 8.8 points, not to have a 25 or 30-plus point game. The reason being is they have so many guys that contribute offensively. You don't want one of these guys to go off, and then that's followed up with the other guys still doing what they do offensively. So I think Arkansas is going to, I'm not even going to say contained, because we're not that great of a defensive team. I think this is a game that you just have to hope for shots not to fall for Arizona, and you have to be able to get some rebounds to stop Arizona from getting offensive rebounds and second chance points. We've talked, and I've said this before, we've talked for years now on the various sports on how can Arkansas adjust to who they're playing. How can Arkansas adjust to the other team's gameplay? And this is one I'm still standing firm on, that make Arizona adjust to Arkansas. Make Arizona adjust to Darius Acuff Jr. Make Arizona adjust to Malik Thomas. Because we know that either one of them, they get hot and they're borderline unstoppable. But this is a game too. You're going to need, we've talked about Trevor Brazile, kind of like Jonathan talked about here in the comments, being the X factor. We've talked about that multiple times this season, about Arkansas's overall gameplay and how the game ends up. A lot of times seems to be determined by what Trevor Brazile we get. So, Trevor Brazile needs to play like every game is his last, because it very well is possible that and same thing with Darius Acuff Jr. This could be your last game in a Razorback uniform. Obviously, we don't want it to be. So, you got to leave everything out on the court.
Absolutely. And I'm going back and looking at these previous games. The biggest key factor is going to be Arkansas in the first half. You're down 53-34 to Florida. And then and these are games you lost outside of the Alabama game where you were up 10, and then it turned into a double overtime war. You were down 53-34 against Florida. And then if you go back to the Kentucky game, Kentucky was up 42-35. They were up 7 at the half. You cannot go into the half being down 7-10. You look at the Georgia game. You're down 45. You're down 13 at the half to Georgia. You cannot let a team, especially like Arizona, you let a team like Arizona get out. The Houston game, even back in the Houston game, 49-41, 7-10 points is the threshold of when you've lost these 5 games. 49-34, 49-41, 45-32. It's like if you let these teams score over 42, 45 points in the first half, that is going to be crucial of trying to get out of this hole. And yes, this is all the losses since the Houston game outside of the Alabama loss where you were up 10. It is very important that you don't get, because Adam, we were at the Kentucky game. We seen that Arkansas, they were trying to fight back to get in the game, but that first 5-10 minutes of the game set the tone for it. You cannot let Arizona set the tone and jump out to a 10, 15 point lead, because I think that the way Arkansas has been playing, do they have enough to climb out of that hole and overcome a 10-point lead like Alabama did against Arkansas? Because that was at home.
Yeah.
This is going to be out on the West Coast.
And we have a dude from another fan base, I'm assuming. Facebook creeping here just a little bit.
Oh,
yeah, my guy.
That's right.
Let me see if I can get this zoomed in. I really don't trust your opinions of the matter. It's kind of hard to see there.
Yeah.
Oh, well. But, it's one of those, I appreciate you contributing to the algorithm. I appreciate you contributing to money in my pocket. So by all means, continue. But at the same time, that's going to happen. But no, this is a game that Arkansas just needs to come in and play their style. Like I said, bend, don't break. I think in this matter, how are you going to stop Akoa Pete? And I know he's their second leading scorer, but at the same time, like I said Monday, I'm still waiting on him to have, which he's had a couple few big games this season, but I still feel like on a big stage, he's looking to up his draft stock.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, a national championship would do that, but this is a game that you've got to shut down or slow down. I mean, honestly, hopefully 1 to 2 of these guys.
Yeah. Against Utah State, I mean, he had 14-10. LIU had 15-7. Houston 21-6. Now Iowa State, he was held to 4 points in 26 minutes, but he had 6 rebounds. So I mean, you're looking. He's had a few games here and there where he's had some off games, but yes, he's like the Trevor Brazile of Arizona. I mean, 12-7. He's consistently giving you 11-5, 21-3, 17-7. You cannot let him go off and go for, say, a 25-10 game. Try to hold him to that 8 to 10 range and maybe limit him to 4 or 5 rebounds. Because I think this was the one. This is the one against Florida. He went out for 30-7 and had 3 steals, only had 2 turnovers. So, and looking through here, there was only 1 game where he fouled out all year, and that was against Houston. So, I mean, BYU, Arizona had 4 fouls. So maybe it'd be one of the things if you can just get him in foul trouble, get him off the court. 6'8", 235, freshman. So as much as we're talking about Acuff, here's another freshman, a 6'8", 235 freshman that is ready to go. And if you don't think they're not coming into this, because like you said, and it's been said on the radio, Arkansas is the darling earlier in the week. Now it's getting closer to the game time and everybody's shifting their talk to Arizona. How is Arkansas going to handle that? And again, there's people still doubting Arkansas. That is where I think that fits into Arkansas, where a lot of people, yes, they're hyping them up, calling them the darling. But outside of the Arkansas fan base, I don't see true people really giving Arkansas a chance in this game, coming to win the game.
Which, history is not on our side outside of, 1994. And like I've mentioned before, I know everybody wants the national championship.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Arkansas fans do too. I want it for the factor of also not having to continue to reference 1994 year in and year out. It's not, it's one of those. It's time for another. You just get tired of hearing 1994. Feels like 1994. And part of me at times, I get tired of hearing that, and I feel like it jinxes us a bit. So I know we've all mentioned before, maybe the announcement of the Nolan statue will get us back on the other side of whatever curse may be out there. Um, but I'm excited for the game, and I completely understand why you're seeing a shift media wise. It's because as it's getting closer to game time, they don't want to be the last ones on record calling the upset. And it's easier to go with chalk in this. It's much easier, especially when it's a one seed. It's a hell of a lot easier to take the safe route and pick the one seed in this matter. But at the same time, even if I had no dog in the fight, I think I would still take Arkansas as the underdog in this game.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Cause I mean, it just Arizona is, and we said that in the bracket, we said the only team in this bracket or this region that we thought was better than Arkansas was Arizona. And here we are at this Sweet 16 heading to the Elite Eight, where Arkansas and Arizona, we kind of seen this coming, best case scenario. And, you know, going back to like 23, I'm just looking at when they played UConn, they got beat 88-65. I mean, you had Kamani Johnson, you had Nick Smith Jr., he gave you 11, Anthony Black gave you 20. But when you look at the Mitchell twins, 2 points, no rebounds. What was the outside of? I mean, Kamani Johnson gave you got you 5 rebounds, no points. There's your Nick Pringle. You know, you go back to the Gonzaga year where they beat Gonzaga, and that's where you had, if I'm not mistaken, Jalen Williams. And you had the inside present. That's what it's going to take. I hope I'm banking on you and stepping up.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I'm even bringing in Pringle, because you're going to need Ewan and Pringle to step up to win this game. And I know, look, it's at that point, Razorback fans. We need him to step up. That is going to be the key. And I know that's hard to fathom. And I hope that doesn't make it to where all is lost or we're doubting on Arkansas to win. I'm saying if they're going to win this game, yes, you need Trevin Brazile, Billy Richmond, Malik Thomas, Darius Acup, all those are got to be a given. I'm talking about what is going to beat Arizona. And that is going to be Ewan and Pringle stepping up and giving you 8 to 10 and 5 boards each. Unless Pringle just has the game of his life and he gives you 18 points and 10 rebounds. I mean, or like I said, what would you give for that 15 and 10? I want half of that. If I could get half of that from each one of them in an 8-8 game or an 8-7 from both of them, I feel like we can beat Arizona. But it's going to take that because you can't let either one get in foul trouble, but they've got to play defense because we know Acuff he's going to get his 25, 30 points a game, but his defensive liability, somebody's got to step up.
Mm-hmm. And I think that this is a game too. I mean, we've talked about it. We talked about it Monday. You know, Darius Acuff game by game, he adds a new element, it seems like, each game. And I think that this is going to be another game that he's going to have different defenses thrown at him. He's going to have a multitude of different players thrown at him. And they're going to try to confuse him. So this is going to be something. How is he going to adapt mid-game to this? And one thing that, because we've seen this before also, that this needs to be a game that you have a supporting cast because he can't do it all on his own. But also is you don't want them to, they're already going to be singling him out. You don't want to give them any more of a reason to because somebody else isn't knocking down shots. So this is the game that, you know, Trevin Brazile needs to, you know, hey, let's come up and hit 2 to 3 threes. Let Malik Thomas start firing, you know, in the first half early on, just try to get him going. In like Ty says here in the comments, this is the game that DJ Wagner, the time he gets in, like he needs to be what we've seen the DJ Wagner of since the SEC tournament. That's what we need in this game. We need Billy Richmond to be the Billy Goat that we have been on for weeks on end at this point. And I know we've been on his side, obviously, since he's been in a Razorback uniform, but I just mean the Billy Richmond the third that we all know is out there We need him to show up tonight in San Jose.
Yeah.
We need him going on all cylinders. I know I joked around Sunday and Monday about I'd rather see him stop trying to throw down on everybody because there's a couple of dunks that he just tried dunking on somebody. Go for it.
Yeah.
Just don't hurt yourself doing so, but just balls to the wall. Leave it all out there. Worry about the next game when the next game gets here. Worry about the next game after tonight. Leave everything out on the court tonight.
Yeah. And talking about DJs, and when we say DJ step up, dude, give us 3 big threes. I mean, that is what we could get out of him. Give us 3 big threes and play some hell of a defense. Come in and step up. Get a couple of threes when we need it the most. That's where Trevor Brazile, somebody leaves him open at the top of the corner, in the corner. I think another big difficulty, you kind of mentioned it with the defense, that Arizona is going to give them different looks at defense. I think the biggest hurdle for Arkansas is you see a lot of these where Acuff dribbles and he throws oops, or he catches somebody on the backside. I think Arizona is going to be too disciplined to get caught looking. They're not going to have that help defense because they know what's lurking behind them. They're going to be disciplined enough to know, all right, let's face Acuff one-on-one. Let's make him get to the tough shots. Let's make him get to the rim and beat us with the and ones, because we know if he comes in and we help, there's going to be somebody coming from behind and getting those easy and the buckets or the dunks or rebounds and putbacks. So this is going to be the toughest test that Arkansas has had, of course, in the tournament, but maybe outside of the Alabama game, because this is going to be one of those that could go into overtime. It could be a double overtime war unless this thing gets out of hand. And this is going to be a game where either Arizona wins by 10 or 15, or it's going to be one where Arkansas is going to claw and fight to the finish, and they're going to win by 4 or 5.
I'm just looking here because I know we brought it up Monday also. I mean, Arizona 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I would say there's about 8 guys in their normal rotation, and then there's about 2 to 3 more that play a little more sparingly, but they have more bench players, obviously, more guys to give breaks. I think this is you've got to make Arizona uncomfortable. You've got to make them play your style, be up tempo. Don't let them slow the game down. And I know sometimes with Arkansas, when the game gets so fast paced that things can get a little sloppy. If that happens, deal with it, because that is your game. I think this is something, like I said, in the first 4 to 6 minutes, set the tone, or the first 4 minutes before that first media timeout, set the tone, close out the first half decently, whether you're having to cut into a lead or keep a lead. And then the same thing for the second half. First 4 minutes, set the tone of the second half. Same thing at the end of the game. I don't see either one of these teams winning by double digits.
Yeah. That's a tough one. When you look at the roster, this is where I'm looking at, you're talking about the depth. It's fairly even when you look at the games played, games started, minutes wise. Arkansas 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 have played 34 games or more. Arizona, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 who've played 8 in 32 or more games. So it is fairly even. So that's a good thing, because it's not like you have like 10 guys that have played 32 games and they have all this extra depth. Outside of Dwayne Aristode, Aristode, he's not started any games, but he's played 32 games this year. Anthony Del Orso, not started. He's played in all 36 games. Toby Awaka, he's not started but 3 games, and he's played. So they have you want to go, what'd you say, 3 or 4 guys sparingly?
Mm-hmm.
So they have 3 guys that have played 32 or more. Then you have a couple that's played 20. But other than that, their main guys, they're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They got 5 guys that have started, or 4 of them have started in 36 games and played. Outside of Koa, he's started in 33 games and played in 33 games. I don't know if that's injuries or whatnot, or could have been something. The first 3 games he's out or sparingly. No, I don't know his situation, but he's played 33 games, started 33 games outside of the other 4 that's 36 and 36.
Yeah, and this comment right here, I feel the refs let him play. I feel like that. Hopefully, again, knock on wood, we see the same type of reffing that we've seen so far in the NCAA tournament, because it has been fairly evenly called. So I do have Arkansas picked to win tonight in my bracket. Let's hope it comes to fruition. But no, I'm nervous about tonight, but I'm like that with any Arkansas game, especially when the season is on the line. So I'm ready for 8:45 to get here, because this day has just gone on long enough.
To answer Ty's game, I'm looking at that right now. I'm looking through their schedule, and I'm down into conference play. I'm at 2 games that are close. 86-83, BYU, they won. They beat UConn back in November, 71-67. They played Auburn and beat them 97-68, beat Alabama 96-75 or 96-75. So you beat Bama by 20. And again, I'm not saying this to discourage. I mean, you lost to Texas Tech. So, I mean, if you want to, okay, that's the close games. You lost a close one, 78-75 to Texas Tech. You beat BYU twice. You beat Houston 73-66. So look, I'm going to be frank. Big 12 tournament, 82-80 win over Iowa State, and then you beat Houston 79-74. So yes, they've had some close games. They've had their battles, but they've won those battles. Arkansas has not. So look, it's one of those rally the troops. This is an uphill climb. We know what we're getting ourselves into. This is one of those things where I think you win this game, the path to a national championship is there. National championship game is there.
Yeah.
But this is going to be a game where you need all 8 of your guys to give you everything they have. And then you got to do it again in 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be the most important game, but it's going to take everything they have to win, because this is a tough matchup. And we'll take a break after our comments. We'll get into LSU stuff to end the show, but I want to start second segment off of if the season ends tonight. I mean, whatever we have to have that comment, because we're not going to be back till Sunday, Monday. You know, if the season ends tonight, I mean, I think it's hard to really judge this off a team that's 34-2, a tough ass team that you're about to play. But you can't lay down. You can't go down and get beat by 20 tonight.
If the season ends tonight, go throw all your money in the Razorback raffle.
Yes.
How about? Oh wait, I thought I was putting it up there. Maybe doesn't want to add. Oh, it doesn't want to add to the stage apparently. But yeah, go throw all your money in the Razorback raffle, because I forget what I said. I think it would be at $13.50. They have exceeded my expectations, and we are at this really does. There we go.
$705. There we go.
So they've exceeded my expectations. So go throw all your money in. If we lose, give it all to the baseball team. But no, I'm hoping it doesn't. But yeah, we can continue that conversation.
Ty, yes, we got 7, but we're going to need every bit of it. I know. I just know that's a tough pill to swallow. But in this game, that's why it's crazy how I feel much better about Purdue and Texas than this game. Not saying it's not going to take all 7, but I have an inkling or a great feeling that Arkansas gets past this. They will win on Saturday. Not guaranteeing it. I'm just saying if you get over this hump, they're going to win on Saturday. But it's going to take all 7 of the 7 you have to step up and play against Arizona to win this because they are battle tested. So,
absolutely.
What we're going to do, we're going to take a quick 30-second break. Hear word from our sponsor, Ovid Vision Exteriors. But when we come back, we'll touch quickly on, expectations. If Arkansas loses tonight, what we have. I mean, I think that's a conversation that we have to have leading into this game, 8:45 tonight. And then we'll throw some shade at LSU to end the show, kind of lighten the mood. But we'll be back after a 30-second break from Vision Exteriors. Looking to enhance your home's curb appeal? Look no further than Vision Exteriors. As your trusted roofing, siding, and exterior experts, we're here to transform your property. Our skilled team ensures your job is not only functional, but also aesthetically pleasing. Along with roofing, we also offer window, gutter, and siding installation to boost your home's appearance with our quality options. Visit us at www.visionexteriors.com or call us at 479-397-4770. Let's make your vision a reality. And welcome back to the Hog Talk podcast. It's make or break time. Ty brought up a good point with the question about how many times has Arizona been tested. They've been battle tested a lot. Only 2 losses on the season for Arizona. Those were against their losses was to Kansas, February 9th, and Texas Tech. So back-to-back losses. So they went through no losses back-to-back in February. They have not lost a game since February 18th. So they are currently on an 11-game win streak. Arkansas, on the other hand, they are on let's be quick to basketball.
8 games.
8 games. Yeah, let me pull this. I had to schedule. Yeah, they're on a 7-game winning streak. So the good thing is, though, this is going to be the best thing about it is Arkansas 7-2 on the neutral court. So, it's not like they've won all of their games. So between the home, yes, so if you want to count true road game, but between the home and neutral, they're 23-3. So, I mean, that's where, I guess if you want to call a silver lining, but the tough conversation to have before the game, what if Arkansas loses? What if Arkansas does not pull this one out? Will it, and the fans that are listening and chatting are the ones just joining, what is going to be the emotions? And I'm not saying outside of sadness, it's going to suck. The season's going to be over, but are you going to feel like it's a disappointment if Arkansas does not win tonight against Arizona?
Yeah, I'm going to be disappointed. I think the outcome of the game, the level of disappointment will be determined by what Arkansas team shows up, the effort shown. And if it doesn't go Arkansas's way tonight, then, it's one of those things that you just, okay, well, who's next? By that, who are you adding to the 3 players that you've already signed for next season? Because like I've been saying, and I think this comes from the portal, you've got to go find your Boogie Cousins, your Anthony Davis, your Oscar Tshiebwe. You've got to go find your bigs. Because again, here we are at another season where that is a big weakness for Arkansas. So I think that if you're Coach Calipari, for all we know, he's already out doing these things. Just, we don't talk about those things because of tampering that is or isn't legal and this, that, and the other. But you've got to go get some bigs. You've got to go get some grown men. So if you're Arkansas's players that, you have eligibility left, having those conversations, will we see Carter Knox again in an Arkansas uniform? Or will he hit the portal? You have to look at some of your guys that still have eligibility available. Are any of them going to flirt with the NBA draft combine to get grades like we saw with Carter Knox last year? So there's a lot of questions that'll need to be answered. But I think it'll take, a couple months to get some of those answers. But no, it's if the season ends tonight, then tomorrow morning it's feet on the ground, finding who's coming in next.
Yeah. And I mean, speaking of that, I mean, you got your National Gatorade Player of the Year coming in. It's the fact that, and I'm not saying he's not be the next Acuff. I'm not saying he won't. I'm not saying he is. I'm not saying he won't. We don't know what our incoming class is going to be. We knew Acuff was going to be great, but nobody could have expected him to be this great, where in 1 year he is even being mentioned, because a month ago, Adam, we were like Natty, or he can't even be mentioned as the greatest player to come out of Arkansas. But for every rule, there's an exception. I think he's the exception. I think he's proven that he has to be mentioned. Now, there's going to be people that are going to stick with Corliss. They're going to stick with Sydney. They're going to stick with Todd Day. They're going to stick with, if some people want to put Thurman in there. But you've got to put him in the conversation. So, with that being said, we know if Malik and Darius leave, we know that between JJ and company coming in, the Gatorade #1 player in the country, we know they're going to replace those. Where are you going to get your bigs? Do you have money for bigs? Are you giving it all to guards? You look at Cal. Yeah. He struck diamond in the rough with Anthony Davis and Boogie. But outside of those, who did he have big inside? He's a guard guy. He's guard heavy guy. So it's one of those, you're taking a gamble knowing you're guard heavy, and you're trying to go get an inside guy that you know you're not going to be paying top dollar for. And that's where it comes into play of who are they going to get inside. But you got to go find it. And that's what's the crazy thing is, everybody thinks you need to go get this All-American center. Just go get a guy that can give you 8 and 8 every game. You go get a couple of guys like that in the portal that that's going to come in and give you 10. I think you'd be great. But what we've been out of print of coming in and giving you, I mean, it's crazy he's played in this many games, but that just shows you the depth that we don't have an inside. You go get the inside presence, and I don't know. It's a tough pill to swallow, because in all, Cal knows what he's doing with these guys. He's coming in. You give me 1 year, I will get you to the NBA and get you a lot of money in the NBA. National championship is a bonus to him. He is the coach, and he is recruiting players. Yes, he wants a national championship, but that's not his top priority. I think fans, it's a top priority. But I think we have to be realistic when it comes to Cal. He's going to come in and get the best guys to come to his program to get them to the next level. If he wins a national championship, that's a bonus, but that is not his top priority. So, I mean, that's how it is. And I don't think that in the new era of college basketball, bringing in the players for 1 year, that a national championship is the top priority. And I think we have to accept that to some extent.
Yeah, answer.
I agree with that. I mean, he wants to deliver his promises to his players, period. And I think that's what you keep getting players. That's why you're seeing what he's done in year 1. Now year 2, you're seeing what he's bringing in next year. And that's where you're either going to accept that you're a Sweet 16, Elite 8 team every single year, and you're dancing and hoping to win a national championship, but you have to be okay with the fact that Cal's going to bring in the top guys to get them to the next level. He's going to pay them a lot of money to come here for 1 or 2 years, depending on how everything shakes out in the draft class. And if he graces a national championship in Arkansas, it's going to be a bonus because he only has one at Kentucky.
Well, apparently we're having reports that, I'm seeing a different referee list for tonight's game. So I don't know I trust Miss Teresa on this, but hopefully Doug Shouse stays as far away from Arkansas as possible.
I wonder if there's a way you could look at that up, or anybody can verify that, because I mean, you talk about a dagger in the balloon. Now, again, he's reffed games before where he's done well, but in this stage, man, that'd be another blow. But we can't let that, even though it's happened in the past, we cannot let that.
No, don't leave the game. Don't leave a game in the hands of the referee. And then going back to Jason's comment here, yeah, I truly, this is one thing that I think Arkansas needs to do is having Trevor Brazile draw out defenders from the paint to open up the paint for the likes of Billy Richmond or even Darius Acuff driving. And I think that that's going to be key. And part of that's going to be is Brazile hitting a couple threes, hit 1 or 2 threes early. And I think you'll see Trevor Brazile confident to continue to shoot after that. So I think that could be a big key in this game is opening up the paint and drawing Arizona defenders out of it to allow Billy Richmond to move. So Arkansas definitely needs to key on that tonight.
And again, for those that are betting, if you're a betting person, again, it's not too late to get on that. The spread right now is 8. It has moved from 8.5 to 8, according to Bet Saracen. The money line is still plus 325 for Arkansas, a minus 425 for Arizona. The over-under is 164.5. So the betting on that is minus 110 on that. But if you bet the money line, $25 will get you $81.25 for that. So that is right there, bet 25, your first wager of $25. When you sign up using the promo code HOG250 gets you free $250 in free bets. I know the big competitors out there are showing 5 and 300, but look, Bet Saracen's in state. We're talking about somebody who's a big component, big supporter of the raffle. Let's support a local product. I know it's easy to go in there and throw down 5 for DraftKings and FanDuel, but let's support somebody who really tries to support the Hogs and wanted to do the best. Was shut out by the Oaklawn, who went and joined the bigger company because he couldn't handle sticking with Bet Saracen by himself, so he had to go join up and bring the big dogs in, bring the corporate guy in. So Bet Saracen, Hog 250, $25 wager gets you 250 in free bets. Terms do apply. So on to wrapping it up. I know we got on this bandwagon or the rabbit hole of Arkansas, but it's a very important game. But of course, LSU strikes again. Will Wade. I guess they're trying to do their best impression of Bobby Petrino in Arkansas and bringing back Will Wade. I can see why they're bringing him back, Adam. I mean, for what he got fired for the last time is pretty much legal now, or people are doing it, not getting in any kind of trouble. But what was your thoughts when you've seen it go from, I sent you a text earlier and I was like, crap, it's a parody. But then it went from a parody account to being real. So when you see legit reports of Will Wade going back to LSU on top of Lane Kiffin, which will play part of his presser, and then you add in with Kim Mulkey, what do you think about all the money that LSU is spending to try to win a national championship, and on top of their baseball program trying to go back to back?
It's bringing back Will Wade. I understand, I guess, to an extent, but then again, it's like I don't. You fired the guy for a reason, and I think it's one of those that the ship has sailed with him. And I'm not knocking what he did at McNeese and NC State. I just think that they're grasping at straws at this point. They're just going back to, hey, when was the last time we were relevant? Let's try that again. And it's I know that some folks, hey, yeah, we did the same thing with Bobby Petrino. He was fired under, a little bit different circumstances than, FBI wiretapping and things of that. So I don't think it's going to necessarily work out in favor. Do I think it's better than what they have right now? Obviously, that's a clear yes. But at the same time, I just feel like they're grasping at straws here.
Yeah. It's one of them, what you're getting into with. It's a gamble. I mean, you're gambling on Lane bringing you a national championship. We've seen what he's done. I mean, what he said at Ole Miss. and then money takes you to LSU. I think in the era of NIL and where you're at in the transfer portal, you can build a program pretty much anywhere now if you have the support. I felt like he had the support at Ole Miss. He just wasn't winning. I mean, you made it to the college football playoff, and you had a solid squad. So, and it goes to the players. You can't be mad at either the coaches or the players. You can't be mad at administrations because it's all about money now. We can get over this whole integrity and honor. All that is out the window because you can honestly, let's go at an 80-90, 80-20, 90-10 split. If you was to ask anybody, what would you do for a national championship? You would do anything outside. I mean, legally. Well, I mean, I'm talking about even if you're going in the gray area and you're paying everybody as much as you want, you're getting all the players and the coaches, you would do whatever it takes, especially in Arkansas's case. Arkansas would do anything for a national championship right now. That's not saying anything bad. You went out and got Bobby Petrino. So, I can't bash what LSU's doing because, hey, that's on them. They have to live with that decision that they're making. I'm not saying it's going to I don't think it's going to work out. I mean, he got you to a Sweet 16, but after that, I mean, if you want to go with the FBI and all that stuff hindered him winning, okay, I'll give you that. But what do you think Lane's going to win a national championship at LSU? I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think because why would he have left Ole Miss to go to LSU? Because he had a great chance to win a national championship at Ole Miss.
It's all about money these days.
It is.
So,
and that's why it's not going to get you a national championship because you're all about money.
Well, and the Will Wade thing too. It's I see this ending fiery, for him and for LSU because I don't think this is going to work out, and I think that going from what happened at LSU, then going to McNeese State, and then jumping over to NC State, and then abruptly you're coming back to LSU. I think that if this doesn't work out in 2 to 3 years, I feel like he's going to have a hard time finding another job at a high profile or, Power 4, if you will, team. He's going to end up back at a McNeese State or somewhere like that if this does not pan out. And I don't think it will. I think in 2 to 3 years, they will have regretted making this decision.
Yeah. Absolutely, because there's only so much money you can hand out, and where are they getting all this money at? Then that's another thing that they've already been in trouble before for doing some shady stuff with money and how they obtain that money. I mean, we've seen that with the Brian Kelly situation. Are they going to go into a spot where they will do whatever it takes and it will cost them getting in trouble again? We'll see how that goes, but you're paying. I mean, they think somebody threw out there a rough estimate, $200 million is what they're paying the coaches and their buyouts and new contracts. And that's not counting staff and players. So, okay, go throw out all the money you want. I still do not think it's going to lead to a national championship in either football or basketball. Mm-mm. Not as long as Cal's there, because I think Cal has the upper hand when it comes to in the SEC. You have Oates, Cal, and maybe Mark Pope, but look what other teams are doing. Look what Vandy's doing right now. Look what other schools are doing. It's not always a guarantee because still yet, I think he's a decent coach, but he's a horrible person, and that always comes back to bite you in the end. And then on top of that, you're going to run out of money. Mm-hmm. So this is going to be a 2 or 3 year deal. And if they don't, Lane could be, but who would be the first one to go out of, if you want to go Lane or Will Wade, who will be the first one out? I'm saying if things don't go as well, is the seat going to be hotter on Lane? Is there more pressure in college football to win at LSU? Yes, absolutely.
100%.
So there's not that much pressure for Will. He'll get a couple extra years, but I still think it's going to end the same way. And, I'm sorry, but I hate it for NC State, but that's what you get. I don't want to hear the athletic director coming on there crying and saying, we talked and we were good. Dude, you knew what you were getting. You knew what you were getting when you signed him. And that's just like Arkansas. You knew you're taking a gamble on Bobby Petrino coming back to Arkansas and it being nostalgic. And that's what the fans wanted. And they automatically thought that was going to transition to 10 wins again. And it was a gamble because if it worked out, it would be worth it, but it didn't. You're going to start over anyway. So you're playing with house money on that situation, but it didn't work out.
LSU is going to be in for, I think, some good times, but some really bad times over the next.
I think it's going to be good, but not good enough. That's the thing. I mean, and everybody's going, well, we made a college football playoff. We made the College World Series, or we made a Final Four, but it's not going to get you where all this money should get you. You're throwing $200 million at this. You should go undefeated in all sports and national championships in all three sports. That's what it should happen. And that's what you're banking on. So if it don't work out, I don't want to hear a single LSU media. I don't want to see an LSU fan, nothing complaining when this doesn't work out or crying about it, because that's what, you know what? You should win everything because you're throwing all this money at everything. And
we definitely should never hear about how teams got players or roster issue or whatever, because you've literally thrown the farm at your coaching staff.
Mm-hmm. Well, and you've literally, and I don't know legally, I've heard either or on this. I don't know how legal this hire even was, because you didn't post the job. You already was hiring the guy before you fired the first one. So I don't know those situations, but you brought in Lane, you threw a fit because Ole Miss didn't want this and that, and you basically sabotaged their season of going back and forth on the coaching and letting them go and not letting this happen. And then you got mad at Ole Miss because they didn't want them coming back. And then, of course, trying to poach more players to come to LSU. Of course not. But you wanted to make them feel like the victim when you stole their guy. Of course not. But I hope, this is just the pettiness in me, I hope they lose in everything and flame out in 2 years. I would laugh, because they're so high and mighty right now. And ever since they sold their soul to the devil in 19 to win that with the NFL coaches, the all-world roster, one of the best teams to ever assemble, and you've done nothing since then. You haven't done nothing in basketball, and you got you a couple of baseball championships. But outside of that, okay, hold on. Being a women's sports fan, you did have a women's national championship with Angel Reese. But outside of that, what have you had? If you want to get to the nitty-gritty of, if you want to rebuttal, you're going to throw shade at, well, only thing that matters is football. What have you done in football since 19?
Shots fired.
So
it'll be okay.
Yeah.
It'll be okay for us because we'll get to sit and point and laugh.
Oh, yeah.
And say, I told you so.
and everybody, Arkansas sucks. We're used to it.
We know that.
So we're laughing that we're not throwing $80 million. And the team that we're throwing a lot of money at, they're winning. They're going to Sweet 16s. They're going to Elite 8s. If they don't go to Elite 8 or Final Four, it's coming. That's the good thing we have to look at, is the fact that we see what Arkansas is doing with their money, and they're bringing in the best of the best. And if it happens, it happens. It don't. But we're not claiming national championships like the boys down south are. So, all right. Hey, 8:45 CBS. Look, Adam, I want y'all coming back, and I'm telling you, if Arkansas gets out of this with 2 wins and they're headed to the Final Four, we might just do a joint show. Do one big hoorah show instead of 2 shows. I think that would be a Sunday night, 8:05. All 4 of us just jump on and do a joint show to celebrate us going to the Final Four, because that would be historic. It would be epic to see Arkansas pull out this weekend with 2 wins. And I think that's what if y'all are in agreement, talk with the other ones, talk to the other 2. And if Arkansas wins both games this weekend, I think Sunday we do a joint show.
I think if we win both games, all bets are off, and it'll be a good time.
You'll get a show with you'll get the comment section porter.
Oh,
that everybody that y'all are raving about. So I don't know. I don't know how to handle that. I mean, I guess it's a good thing, bad thing. I don't know if
it's a good thing.
Am I that button up and corporate on this show?
Sometimes, yes.
Well, Mondays we have to, because of the radio part of it. I think I lighten up a little bit on our Thursday edition. But all right, we're promising you guys, Arkansas wins both games. if we beat Arizona and then advance to the Final Four, we're going to do a joint show on Sunday, 8:05. So that's what I'm hoping for.
Let's go for it.
All right. Well, for Adam Hall, I'm Porter Hayes. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We are hoping for a Razorback win, a double Razorback win this weekend, so we could come on Sunday and just celebrate with Razorback fans that we're going to the Final Four. And we'll hopefully catch you on Sunday doing a joint show. If not, if they lose, we'll do double show and we'll see you on Monday. But I hope we see you on Sunday.